one thing I've always found is that, you know, every artist, musician, there's a point of rejection or having to like motivate yourself. How do you get yourself out of those quote unquote dark moments?
Well, I've been dropped twice. I've been denied. I say denied. You know, I haven't got radio yet for any of my songs. I've written massive songs for other people that have been hits all over the world, but I haven't yet been played on radio. I don't know how. Do you mean how do I get through it?
Yeah, how do you keep going?
It is the music. It sounds a bit naff, but it is. Like, I love my songs, and I've seen my songs do well for other people. So there's no reason why, as an artist, not as a songwriter, but as an artist and a songwriter for myself, I see no reason as to why I can't. Everyone gets dealt different hands. My record label experiences were not great. Other people's may be great, you know. It's all about the cards life deals you. Yeah, like I said, my record label ones weren't, but I've come out, I've done great songwriting, and I'm now funding that into doing it independently. I have my own record label now. I'm trying to release myself through. That's difficult, but you know, I wouldn't still be going if I didn't like my own music, and if I hadn't already proved myself by writing for other people. That's another big thing as well. If I hadn't done that, then I'd be lost. I'd be like, you know, very doubting. I doubt myself and others, it is, but when you know that you've done some good work that's been tried and tested and proven to be good, you know, like writing a hit, you then can't argue with yourself.
Yeah.
You've proved it, and then for me now as an artist, all I feel has to happen is a few things to slot into place, and then we should be good. But it's a very unpredictable industry, so it may never happen, and I'm very real about that. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to be like, no, you know, I'm going to be a massive star, because I might not. As long as I keep some grip on reality and keep working hard, keep writing songs for other people, so I have something to fall back on. You have to be real. You can't be deluded about it. You know, you see X Factors, you see the families on X Factors, like someone's just done a horrific audition and their family's running. They're like, "Why didn't you let our Sonia through? She's amazing!" And you're like, "Oh my God, you're all absolutely deluded."
There is a lot of delusion.
There's so much delusion. There's so many, yeah.
I mean, so in terms of, you know, you said the experience of being, I didn't know actually being dropped twice. What made you think, okay, did you just say, you know, I'm not dealing with majors anymore in that regard, or are you going to build yourself back up? And
after the second dropping, after being dropped for the second time, I mean, this was over the space of 3 years, so I was with the first record label for 2.5 years, and then I'd say 3.5 years, yeah. I came out of that, I was very numb to it actually, because my A&R guy had left, and I was kind of prepared to be dropped. I knew what that meant. Well, if you lose your A&R guys, you're kind of on your own. So I was kind of prepared for it. My manager called me and he said, "Ed, can we have a coffee?" Just, I was going to LA the day after. He called me and he was like, and I went, "I know." And he went, and he laughed. He absolutely wet himself. And he went, "Right, well, we'll talk later." And you know, he told me, and I was like, this is just mad. You know, what more? What more? And then I went off to LA for a couple of weeks and wrote with some of my best friends out there, and I forgot about it, you know, and I partied hard and I worked hard and I made some great contacts and I wrote some great songs. The one day I've had to date that I've really considered packing everything in was the day I got back from LA, because I'd been dropped before I left. LA took my mind off it. I got back in the cold, you know, London weather, and I went, no, no one, you know, this is never going to slot into place for me. And then a couple of hours later I was fine. and then I probably had a little cry, played my music and went, no, I can do this. that's what it takes.
Yeah, you gotta faith in the music, because at the end of the day,
a lot of people who are doing well now, when you ask them, almost universally, with the exception of people who have been really fortunate,
yeah,
you know, they say it's a struggle and it's you know, carrying an atlas uphill, and you there's no guarantees that the effort you invest in it will ever give you anything back. But anyone who's really worth their salt, they don't do it for that in the first place. None of us do it for money.
No.
None of us do it for fame. It's just that you want to do something real with your life as a musician. And
that's a good point. And that's why the money that, you know, the money that I've earned from writing songs for other people is going straight back into funding my artist career. If it was for me, if it was about the money for me, I'd go, oh yeah, sack off the artist career because I'm making all right money now from the songwriting, so I'm going to just buy a nice house and some nice cars and whatever. But it's not. I still haven't, you know, I haven't decided against being an artist. So I'm like, now I'm fortunate enough through the songs that I've written to be able to fund it myself. And that's a big risk, because, you know, if it doesn't work, I'll be skint.
but every, you know, I mean, this.
But it's worth it though, isn't it? But
yeah, exactly. And a lot of people are skint, but they still go for it.
Well, at least you're going to be skint. Well, if you are to be skint, it'll be on your own terms.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have that.
Yeah, that's another a rule that I've always said, and actually a rule that I've always believed in but never truly happened until I became independent, was that I will always fall by my own sword. But that's fine. But when you're in a record label and you've got people all around you, we're not sure about that, and you're trying to put out ideas, blah 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 blah, it's very difficult without being a diva or without annoying people and alienating your team. You need to compromise, and sometimes things actually rarely go the way that you want. You know, even down to video shoots. I remember a couple of video shoots I was like, I don't feel like this is me. And the video came out and it was alright, and you know, and I became independent when that wasn't me. Take it off YouTube, you know, like. So now I can actually kill myself with my own sword.
You know the part you said about it's like you'll make a song and you have to play it to a bunch of other people, and they'll be saying like,
oh, I hate that.
And that's the thing which I feel kind of like kills the artistry, because you go in and there's always like, you know, you're going to be judged to an extent, like, well, who's this for? Can we get this here?
Yeah.
I mean, is that part, how do you get through that part as well, you know, the critiquing of what you already know is a good song?
I love it. I really love it. When I first started going in, especially pitching, before I was signed, when you go into a record label and you're like, you see the big building and you know the massive famous logos on the wall, and you're like, oh my god, this is incredible. You sit down at a desk and you got an A&R guy sat there going, yeah, it's all right, yeah. Okay, next, and you're like, oh, that's my favourite, you know, that's my favourite song. It used to affect me then. And sometimes people can be very rude when they listen to music. I've had people sat on their emails. Okay, yeah, play us some of your stuff. So you hit play and you're like, you know, what do you think? And they're like, and then yeah, they go, yeah, okay, and what else you got? And you're like, how dare you? You know, I'm coming in and putting my soul on the line and out in the open, and you're doing that. But now, I'm like, other than wanting to punch someone, I'm like, do you know what? Oh, I'm right. I'm right. That song's incredible. And I don't need you to tell me. I don't need you to sit there and approve it, because I know what's good. I know what is a good pop song. You know, and
I think music's one of the only industries where the people who are the people that create it have have to then sell it to someone who knows nothing about music. I mean, you've got to be careful.
And there's a lot of people
like this,
in the industry
but they think they do. A lot of
that shouldn't be there. In my opinion,
a lot of people are businessmen, and everything. We've got to be honest about this. A lot of life is about money, isn't it? And it's whether something's going to sell or not. But a lot of the time, you find that you're dealing with people who are very good at following a trend that's happened before. But they're not very good at spotting something new.
Yeah.
And it's quite interesting to watch how that happens when you get someone who's clearly very, very talented, having to convince someone who's essentially not.
Well, it's the suits, isn't it? It's like, there's a difference between a marketing mentality and a accounting mentality.
And I find through the ranks, what likes to happen at record labels is people who have been drafted in for a reason that does not involve the creative side at all, then like to have their 2 pence in getting involved in the creative side.
Do you know what it reminds me of is like football, like how Abramovich is, like he's always tinkering with the teams.
Yeah,
and I feel like football, you can see
that's
the energy
it.
of the.
And if you're in that position of power, then you're going to go, I had at a record label, I won't mention the name, I had someone who was drafted in to look after budget, put a 3-month hold on my whole project because this person didn't think that my first single was right. And this is when I should have been, I was on a feature that did really well and I should have released it straight after, but I couldn't because so-and-so didn't think it was right. And then by the time we got round to lifting the bar off it, it was too late. It was 4 months down the line and no one cared. Radio didn't care,
And time is key, actually.
Time is key, and timing is key. Like being patient is key. Like over the past few years, there have been times I've wanted to be like, come on, we've got to release something now. If things didn't go right with my next few singles, I wouldn't think twice about stepping back, regrouping, writing some more songs, because sometimes it's just not the right time.
You can't fight that.
You can't fight that. And there are signs that tell you that it's probably not the right time.